Okay, so one major problem we have with our graph as it stands, and this may be the same for some of you, it may not, but we are starting at temperature reading 0, in terms of the readings, we're starting at reading 0, reading 1, reading 2. And realistically in real life, when you get a reading, that's the first reading, number 1, and the second reading is number 2, and the 10th is number 10. So we need to try and rectify this a little bit so that the first reading that's got is actually reading 0. So let's see if we can do that in here. So the best way I could come up with to kind of get around this loophole of change the X label to start at 1 is to do the following. So I am going to iterate through the readings here, and I'm just going to say something like for value in range length of temperatures. So depending on how many temperatures I have, and you see, you might let your microbit go for an hour and a half, 10 minutes, you could have 10 readings, 50 readings, 12 readings, so you want this all to be dynamic. And I have, I think, 5 readings in there, or maybe it's 8 readings actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 readings in there, but of course when I do this here, I start at index 0 and go up as far as 7. Now what I'm going to do here is this. I'm just going to create a, let's see, temp readings, like our temp labels maybe is better. So temp labels, and I'm going to create an empty list, and then in here I'm going to say okay. Now I printed the value, I'll get rid of that in a moment. I'm going to say temp underscore labels dot append, and I'm going to append the value. Okay, and let's just go and print out the temp labels in. And this is not correct now, but let's see what happens. So when I print that, I get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all stored in a list. Again, that's not right, but I wonder, is there any way I could get this to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5, to 6, to 7, to 8? Yes, there is, and maybe some of you are spotting it. If I said value plus 1, and again, let's say value plus 1 here, will this correct it? So now we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we're on easy street now. Now it hasn't changed it here. We need to apply this setting to our graph. I'm going to get rid of that fella. He was only in there for testing purposes. I'll get rid of this print labels down here as well. I know that that works correctly. So one thing I can do in here is I can put in another argument here called temp labels, and instead of picking up the labels by default, it's going to pick them up now based on what I'm telling it to do. So when I provide only one argument, it does the actual labels itself. Now I'm putting in another argument, so this one now is going to say, okay, these are the actual labels I want for the x-axis. And I do that, and I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, magnificent. Now, just one other thing to point out there. If somebody gets something like 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 and that, if that happens to you, well, what you need to do is you need to change this here to a string. And I'll just do this and see what happens. Yeah, and it comes out the same, but some of you may need to do that for whatever reason. One or the other should work, and as I say, that's great stuff there. So see me in the next video. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop this, clear it all, I'm going to run the microbit, collect data for maybe 15-20 minutes, blow hot and cold on it, different things, and see what I get.